Welcome. You are listening to the Uncensored Chatter podcast, powered by PenaVega Universal Media. The thoughts, ideas, and suggestions of Gage Kirby, or any conservative, does not accurately reflect the reality of the person or situation discussed by Gage Kirby or any conservative. We do not advocate for or promote the hate speech, racism, anti-LGBTQ+, and/or any far-right thought, idea, suggestion, comment, statement, and/or misinformation that Gage Kirby and the conservatives presents in their various statements and communications. Gage Kirby does not represent or is affiliated with this podcast, and his statements are his own responsibility. PenaVega Universal Media is not responsible for the welfare of Gage Kirby or any conservative who may appear on this podcast, or how individuals will react to their personal ideologies and political motivations. Thank you. Listener discretion is advised. This is the Uncensored Chatter podcast with your host, Shinai An.
In the art collector. Bullshit, derivative. Is art good just because the right people say it's good? Yes.
Just when you thought it was safe to come back to the channel page. Seriously, it's been less than a day, and you already made a stupid fucking rebuttal to this. Holy fucking shit. The only reason I'm doing this at all is because I have a day off. It's 10th anniversary yesterday with Kate. Had a good time. Went in for a bit. Got out about maybe an hour ago. And I get curious, okay, was there something in response to this? I'm hoping not, because it sounds fucking stupidity. It sounds like an example of fucking stupidity, excuse me. For someone to make a statement that has nothing at all to do with anything at all, to then claim that they suddenly have a reason to attack a stranger because they criticized another stranger. And here's the thing, knowing my name doesn't mean that you know me, it just means that you are aware of my name. I love how me simply saying that attacking me because I disagree with someone is ridiculous, because you need to insert yourself into every little bit of conflict that involves me just because you feel like you need to be special. Doesn't make you special. Comes off like a screaming fucking retard who feels like he wants to be viewed as though he knows everything, while at the same time the person in question is trying their hardest to be seen as someone who can be trusted. But the whole idea of being able to trust you would imply you'd actually be worthy of being listened to without immediate disbelief hating to creep into someone's head because they just don't believe the dumb bullshit you make up. Alright, let's read this bullshit. Transphobic far-right Gage is at it again, which is a violation of his contract. Now here's the thing. You and I had an agreement that we would leave each other alone. And when I decided to uphold my end of the deal, where I was going to private my shit and then leave you be, provided you did the same, including your books, you decided to come up with reasons as to why you should be able to renege out of the deal by basically just saying that if I'm mean to you in any way, by calling you a piece of garbage for actively ignoring the fact that you're not upholding your end of the deal. That's not me violating a contract at that point, because you violated the contract long before then. I called it as a fucking dead-end deal at that point, because you're not gonna do what I'm asking you to do in response to what you asked me to do. You're not gonna meet me halfway and actually do what you said you were gonna do and delete all your shit about me, so I'm not gonna uphold an end of the deal if all you're going to do is go back on it the moment it seems inconvenient for you. That's the truth. Excuse me. take water and a soda so I can stay hydrated and caffeinated at the same time. If water tasted bitter, I'd drink a lot more of it. One-to-one ratio. But nevertheless, attacking transgender individuals with his usual hate speech propaganda of how transgender people are, quote, scaly, ugly, fake, trans-trending, child rape psychopaths. No, I said you are ugly and scaly because you resemble a grouper. That is not me trying to attack all trans people with that fucking label. Why is it that if I directly address you, you need to make it everyone else under the same fucking slug? Like I said, if I call someone by name and shit ass, it means I'm addressing you. I'm not addressing dozens of other people that are not involved, who don't even know you or I even exist. I know I said you're a child rape worshipper because you condone people raping kids. That's not me trying to label everyone as that thing, because I'm only referring to you as that thing. And the reason I call you trans-trending is because I feel like the only reason you began to try to transition was because you felt it was the only way to avoid scrutiny from anyone, is just to become a more protected class so that no one can scrutinize a single thing you were saying, because people like you don't care about the actual struggles that trans people go through. You care more about being able to assume their identity so that no one can say things about you that are mean, even if you openly deserve it. He believes that they, transgender individuals, can't be bilingual, and that everything is that he does against people is essentially everybody else's fault, because it's, quote, none of their business what he does against others. No, what I'm saying is that if you make a fool of yourself and someone tells you make a fool of your fucking self, that is your fault because you made a fool of yourself, which allowed other people to scrutinize and mock you. And the reason I don't understand why you inject yourself into other people's conflicts with me is because these people don't know you and don't like you. When I explained to Kelly the kind of person that you were in my own comments when she asked who the fuck you were, she was immediately disgusted by you. Kelly might not even like me at all, but she still dislikes you more. Because I told her exactly the kind of shit that you're into. And then you're trying to sit there and bitch that she openly had disgust for you upon hearing about the things you said previous to your trying to align yourself with her. But you know, it's my fault that you say horrible shit that other people don't like. Gage projects his own internalized hatred against humanity by reversing the polarities of his hate to make it seem as if everyone hates him, which therefore justifies him to hate people back. No. You do things that are very obvious, that are very, very heavily correlated with possibly hating someone. And then at the same time, with the fact that you act that way, you're trying to then say that it's not hate, but you do things that would very well lean in the way of hating somebody, whilst at the same time saying you don't hate them. Your actions are more convincing than your words at that point. If you try to take a shotgun to someone's life and you basically just start doing everything you can to victimize and harass them, well, all the while crying and whining that they say, yeah, what you're doing is kind of fucked because you're trying to hurt people's real life instead of just simply saying, I think you're an asshole on the internet. He wields a power of authority that he never had over random people who qualified to lead than he is. Yeah, he didn't even use that sentence correctly. Here's the thing, you're not qualified to lead shit because you don't understand anything. Your whole idea of leading just means you tell people a load of shit and you try to shovel it into their mouths, and when people refuse to open their mouths for the load of steaming bullshit you're trying to shovel in their faces, you freak out and read because you realize you can't defend any of your claims with any actual proof aside from the words, he hurt my feelings. His Maca's ego and unhinged personality have blinded him from the realities of his self-inflicted downfall. Yeah, self-inflicted downfall. Oh God, my life is falling apart because I said something about someone that you tried to suck off, and what happened is this person said you were disgusting because I told them the shit that you'd said and advocated. Oh dear, oh me, oh my, what will I do? Besides just simply say, yeah, you said this shit. This is stuff you've said and written in your own fucking books and said in your own videos at one point in time. It is literally nobody else's fault but yours that you say this shit and then try to renege on it later because you realize just how fucked up it is. I mean, here's the thing. It's better to acknowledge that what you say is fucked up than it is to say other people are lying about you. when you look fucking shitty. Seriously. If what you say is shitty, and people point it out, that's not other people being assholes. That's you saying something shitty and not realizing it. Gage still makes excuses for believing of the non-existence of countries and nations, just as he continues to whitewash over his abusive nature against women, especially trans women, who he deeply believes from the deepest, darkest crevices, recesses, either one could have been used here, of his mind are not women. No, I don't think that you, the dumb, creepy, fucking pedophile advocating dipshit that wrote this garbage, are trans. And the reason I say this is because you often use your identity as an excuse to not be criticized for shitty things that you do. If you think I'm an asshole and you don't like the way I treat you in particular, that's fine. But I'd rather just have you admit that than try to use other people as a fucking bullet shield whenever you do something stupid that makes you look like a retard. And here's the thing, it's not abusive nature against women. I just dislike it when people make idiots of themselves and then try to blame the people around them when they point it out. Yeah, there are times I've definitely done some pretty stupid shit myself, but the difference is, I didn't try to make it everyone else's problem afterwards. I took my lumps forward and said, yeah, you know what, I fucked up, I fucked off for a while and then figured out my life. You, however, are still blaming me because you're an idiot that fucked up his own life and trying to act like I'm somehow responsible for the stupid shit you put yourself through continuously. Kelly is a perfect example of Gage, like excellent lack of a possessive noun, you fucking retard. Lack of respect for women, who he sees as a weaker vessel. No, I don't think that women are weaker. I'm saying that if someone doesn't know what they're talking about, they admit to not knowing what they're talking about. That's the point in time where they need to take a couple steps back and really look at the situation before they decide whether or not it should or should not be involved. That's it. Gage attacked Kelly via YouTube, and she, in response, shut down her channel and ran for the hills. She wasn't under threat. She might have done it because she genuinely felt bad that she made a fool of herself, and here's the thing, I don't think that was really necessary, but if she did that because she thought what was best, that's fine. If she really feels like that's what's best for her, if she really wants to get away from everything because, like, apparently she had someone in her family pass away recently. I'm not going to mention who, I'm not going to go into specifics. This is just what she told me. But her wanting to get away from the internet for a while because all of this together just wasn't great for her emotional health, I understand that and I completely respect that. If she chooses to get away from the internet for a while, that's her business. She's not being bullied off the internet. She might have genuinely just left because she wanted to get away from all the bullshit for a while so that she can just figure out what's going to happen now in her life because she lost a member of her family. And again, if that's her business, that's her business. I don't see the point in being upset with that because that's what she did if she felt like it was necessary. It's all on her. Gage and the cult are responsible for her disappearance, which has been proven. She didn't disappear. She wasn't fucking kidnapped. She just left YouTube for a while. She'll probably be back in a couple of weeks. This is like a standard pattern for her from what I've heard, is that she'll go off grid for like a couple weeks or so, come back, and then be involved in more stuff she doesn't need to, and then do the same thing over and over again. Like, from what I hear from people that have known Kelly longer than I've been aware of her, is that that's her typical fucking standard. It's basically just have a channel for a couple of months, maybe a year or two, blow it up if something happens, then start another one, because she just doesn't know how to properly regulate what's going on. Sorry, allergies are starting to come up because it's going to be springtime's like right around the corner. Gage also has a tendency to portray people by what they wear and their outside appearances instead of their humanity and their true mindset of others. You literally attack people that don't agree with you because they don't agree with you. To the point where you want to re-at them, even if they so much as say, I don't think it's a good idea to be a pedophile, and then you want to re-at people and bitch about it afterwards. I judge you solely because of the shit that you do. Your actions are what define how I feel about you. Same way with anyone. It's not my fault that you're too dumb to understand that. Just because someone chooses to wear black makeup and or black outfits does not make them emo like Gage. Like Gage would like people to believe. Maybe not, but it is a standard apparel choice for people who tend to act in that particular manner and dress in that particular style. You're so fucking stupid that trying to reason with half the shit you say sounds right. It is the individual in question who determines that, not Gage and the rest of the far right. You're so stupid that you think anyone that's remotely different from you is far right because you don't know how to actually differentiate one side from the other. It also ties into to Gage desperate for everyone in the world to believe in his beliefs and to become like him. No. I simply say that you should be willing to listen to what other people have to say and then determine whether or not you believe in it for yourself first, instead of trying to automatically say everyone is lying or wrong by default. It's not my fault you can't pay attention to shit. Gage wants his dream to come true, a dream where hostility against others is redefined as civility. Well, here's the thing, I try to be fair to most people, but the problem is there are people like you who basically try to find a way to take a mile when an inch was the only thing that they could really justifiably receive, because they keep needing to make everyone pander to them, even if it means they have to keep poking and prodding and pushing boundaries until someone finally says something and just says enough. However, he has never once been civil and has instead encouraged the online propagation of blood sports, as it is somehow justifies his hate-filled mentality, just like his lack of control over his words, actions, and deeds. No, when I'm doing something, I'm fully aware that I'm doing it. It's not like you, where I need to disassociate from every one of my actions every couple of weeks because you just fun that you need to suddenly ignore when it becomes inconvenient for you to acknowledge. His habit of getting angry, bitter, over other people being logical and correct because he has no correlation with his ideology shows that Gage wants everything to go his way by lying and ruining the lives of others to achieve that dream. More like, you say fucked up shit. I point out the shit that you say to people who don't know who you are, who you try to ally yourself with. They realize the shit that you're saying. They look at the documents and shit that have been proven of you saying these things because you've documented entire books where you advocate for pedophilia and rape. And then you basically sit there and cry because you realize the person who you wanted to blow so badly now views you as a fucking abhorrent mistake and wants nothing to do with you. Gage refused to fail to see the error of his ways when it involves the LGBTQ community. No, it's not the error of my ways. You're just a whiny bitch that acts like anyone that calls you a mean name hates an entire community of people that have nothing at all to do with it, because my issue is not with the community of people. My issue is with one stupid asshole who decides that they are now the fucking spokesperson for a community who don't really have a stake in this matter. It's not mob mentality, it's just you being an asshole and then trying to bitch about it because no one agrees with you. As he makes excuses for calling transgender individuals faggots. Oh, it's my fault you're a big baby bitch. I'm so sorry that you're so fucking stupid that you don't realize that acting like an asshole is gonna warrant people to be an asshole back to you. I'm so fucking sorry that you grew up in a little fucking retarded school where they told you that being an idiot your entire life was the only way to get by. It is sad that in the 21st century there are still people who carry on their hatred against the LGBT community, just like their ancestors did. No, it's not hatred against the LGBT blah 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 community. And the reason I'm saying blah 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 is because I don't want to repeat the entire fucking alphabet with a plus behind it. The reason people like you exist, and I mean you as the dumbass author of this garbage, not other people, is because you latch onto that community. You basically stigmatize that community by basically acting like anything that you say is somehow representative of that entire group when it is the furthest thing from it. It's the same reason I don't speak for every single heterosexual, Caucasian, atheist, centrist. I don't speak for every one of these people. I speak specifically for myself, and if some people agree with me, that's fine. People don't agree with me, that's fine too. It's all a matter of what they disagree with and why. As opposed to you, where a single disagreement, regardless of the reasoning behind it, is automatically a reason to get someone fucking flogged. Whether he got his hatred through his upbringing, his environment, his poor choices in life, Gage has no excuse to carry on the hate against transgender individuals, mocks their names. Let's see here. sorry, it's like mocks their names, calls transgender people dumbasses, and even attacks their individuality, while also believing that calling him for his atrocities motivated action against him makes their content garbage. But yeah, abuse Kelly and other women, and be fine with that. Calling women pieces of shit for supporting making excuses for Damien Skyfire abuse, forcing people having trust issues like himself, proves Gage back into therapy ASAP and back on his meds. Here's the thing, I've never required medication for mental health issues. So shut the fuck up and kill yourself. The problem is, you decide that every little bullshit thing that you make up is true, because it needs to be true for you to not feel like an asshole trying to spiral bullshit at people, trying to get someone to believe you and go after people because they hurt your fucking feelings. And I'm not calling women piece of shit. I'm calling the dumb, ugly piece of garbage that made this thing that I'm reading a piece of shit because they're lying by omission. It is nobody else's fault that you're a fucking loser that has nothing else to do with your time except to read at the top of your goddamn lungs about every little bullshit thing you put yourself through. And here's the thing, no one's forcing people to have trust issues. People are simply better explaining a situation that you yourself won't actually explain because you're a lying douche. Fuck off and kill yourself. Gage failed to upload the contract that was agreed to as his podcast, and others are evident to this. No. What happened is, almost 4 months ago, you and I had a discussion in Discord, where you and I both mutually agreed to private or delete our content involving each other because we both wanted this issue to finally come to a close. And I was willing to private my stuff, and I privated it instead of deleting it because I wanted some sort of assurance. Had anything gone down that was been as like, okay, well, you're not going to uphold your end of the deal, neither am I. If I cannot trust you to uphold the end of the bargain that you're so desperate to try to broker with me, I'm not going to uphold it because I know you're just blatantly fucking lying to me at that point. And I told you as much. I straight up told you as much, that if you're not going to uphold your end of the deal, I'm not going to follow through. I'm not going to be the one that's made to fucking comply if complicity only means that one of us will do what they agree to, and the other one just complains and whines and cries and says that me demanding them to follow through with their end of the bargain is somehow permitted. If you choose not to agree with what I do, that's fine. But that does not mean that you suddenly are no longer obligated to uphold your end of a deal if you openly give your word in a written contract that you intend not to be involved with anything that involves me any further. So shut up. Gage can't be trusted on any level. Yeah, you know, like when I do something to show that I'm willing to at least try to do something in good faith, you decide to read and screech and say that I'm not doing enough, while at the same time you're bitching and crying if you cry about everything. And others are evident. This episode and tons of propaganda videos on his YouTube channel would not exist if he held up his end of the agreement. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I privated them as a way to basically show some good faith that if you followed through, I would delete them, but you didn't follow through. Instead, what you did is you made excuses to not follow through, and when I asked what the fucking deal was, you started getting bitchy and snippy with me about it, instead of simply saying, you know what, you're right, you did exactly what you said you were going to do, and maybe I should just follow through with what I agreed as well, but instead of that, you acted pissy, you acted shitty, you got into that big verbal altercation with me that was recorded that's like 2 hours long, it was like 3 hours with rebuttals and stuff edited in, and basically we're right back here at square fucking one. If anything, you've proven that even if someone else is willing to meet you halfway, you decide that that's not good enough. This episode consists of Gage confession and excuses of bullying and abusing and the harassment of women, anyone who qualifies as his opposition. Gage determined. No. What happened is, I was addressing the fact that you were trying to inject yourself into a situation that had nothing at all to do with you, that was none of your fucking business, all because you're pissed off at me and you want me to look like an asshole. That's really all it is. You're just pissed off at me and you want me to feel like shit because you want someone to come at me over some bullshit that you made up. That's all it is. You're basically just being a whiny little fucking turd and saying anything that I say is automatically deserved because you want to throw a fucking fit about it. And then at the same time you want to complain that people say that you're full of shit when you lie all the time. Like seriously, When did I say, quote, transgender people? I didn't. I said you. You. Y-O-U. The dumb fucking moron that's being addressed publicly by the name Iron Shit Ass. You. Not other people that are somehow involved in the same circle that transgender people encompass. So shut the fuck up. And women are not part of it. They're not part of it. Just because someone's a woman that I say something mean to doesn't mean their gender is a relevant factor. It's their behavior and actions that I'm judging, not their sex. And the fact that I am friends with several women on this platform who openly call you a fucking cunt show that it's not women I'm not women. They're not women that I'm targeting. It's shitty people in general, regardless of what is or isn't between their fucking legs. And if you're so fucking cracked in the skull that you don't understand this at 35 years of age, you're never going to. I hope I don't have to do this again. I really don't have to. I don't want to have to make another fucking rebuttal to this crap, where I have to sit here and listen to you steal my audio for like almost a half hour while you put garbage music over the back of it, because instead of just simply saying, listen to what I'm saying, pause it, issue a rebuttal, then continue, pause it to rebuttal, continue, pause it to rebuttal, continue, pause it to rebuttal, continue, and then just do that on and off until the video's over. It'd be a much more effective way to do it, instead of, look at the audio I stole from your channel. By the way, I will be flagging these because you are just stealing my shit and re-uploading it. You're not even actually editing it to make it transformative. You're not. You're not offering criticisms or critiques of what I'm saying. You're not offering rebuttals or counterpoints to my arguments. You're basically just saying, this person bad, this person should be on medication, all the while screaming into your fucking cup, crying and shaking your cup at someone, hoping to throw you a couple quarters here and there. Seriously. You're an idiot. You are an idiot. Because you're just doing dumb fucking things, hoping someone will support you. But it never pans out that well because you have no idea what the fuck you're doing from one day to the other.
Beside you, it's a beautiful life. Oh, oh, it's a beautiful life. Oh, oh, it's a beautiful life. Oh, oh, I just wanna be here.
When the conservatives are causing you problems, you know you are doing something logical. From inside reporting within the mindset of a cult leader and his minions to creating a safe space for the victims of the far right. From providing love and support to the international community to tearing down barriers created by haters and their ideology, PenaVega Universal Media is here to stop fascist, wipe the map, and shove them off the face of the earth. Thank you for your unwavering support and your continued audience of this podcast and other media made by PenaVega Universal Media. Answer our poll via Spotify on the topic attached to each episode. Until next time.